Break time. Welcome to our newest episode. It's your co-host, Rissy Ray,
Hey.
and yours truly, Kaninja. Today, Rissy and I will be talking about the side hustle.
Bum.
Boom, boom, boom. So, a lot of people end up not really knowing what we mean by the side hustle or anything along those lines. So what we're going to do on this first part is we're actually going to talk about what is the side hustle. So Rissy, what do you mean by side hustle?
So part of the definition by Oberlo, I'm calling it Oberlo.
.com.
A side hustle is a way to make money outside of your 9-to-5 job, i.e. your full-time job. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, year 2020 and year 2021 is the year of the side hustle, okay? It is.
Why?
Because it's like, that's all I see, first of all. Like, let me just put it out there. Like, that's all I see. I see a lot of people who are saying, like, hey, like, what? Okay, let me say this. A lot of people lost their jobs last year.
True.
And a lot of people are like, hey, well, let me go back even further. Remember how, like, the federal workers were furloughed for, like, a period of time?
Yeah. It was, like, near the middle of last year, or was it near the end?
Ooh, so Kaninja's gonna look up that information because she's awesome and amazing, and she's awesome and amazing, and she knows exactly the numbers because she's good at stuff like that. She's great at stuff like that. And you know how it was like it was like those federal workers of different departments, Department of Justice, Department of Creation, like it was like so many different departments that they were furloughed for a long period of time. And in the midst of that time, right, a lot of them started side hustles. One sister, like it was two sisters, one was in one department, one was in another. They were both furloughed. They ended up making like a baking company.
Oh, nice.
Outside of outside of their like what they've been doing,
right.
That they decided to do that, and they started making money, and I think, I'm not 100%, they were making more than what their salary was. Like they were like, hey, we got to do something, right? Like you're in an emergency situation, you got to do something. So I think that kind of kicked off. I mean, not saying that I do feel my conspiracy. There's people who already knew about COVID coming without telling people COVID was coming, but that's neither here nor there. Before we knew COVID was coming, we had a little wave, which was the federal workers being furloughed. And a lot of them decided to do work, doing some side hustle, doing things from home, just change their career up altogether. Mm-hmm. Now the big wave came where a crap ton of jobs were left alone, like were gone. Like a lot of places shut down, especially like hair, like services, like personal services, like massage therapy, like massage shops. What else? Hair, nails.
Yeah.
Right, and then restaurants, like a lot of them who weren't already equipped to deal with like to-go orders, like kind of like certain shops. I don't know which ones. They were like shut down. Like they had to. Their revenue was only through to-go orders.
Right.
Which they had to eliminate their wait staff.
Right. Because they didn't need them.
They didn't have to, but well, they did have. It was kind of rough. It was kind of rough forever. Before they started, it took forever to get relief, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. And so what do? You've been working at this job, and other companies, lost jobs as well. What do? You got bills to pay. Yeah, they said there's a freeze, like a mortgage freeze. Some places have written, like, there was a temporary freeze, but they didn't say it's going away. They said, hey, we're going to postpone some of these procedures. Doesn't mean it goes away. Mm-hmm. Well, let me give you a general number, $1,200 mortgage. Mm-hmm. $1,200 mortgage doesn't go away. It's there.
Yeah.
It's just it's not due for a little bit.
It's just waiting until
for you.
back. Same with school loans, same with utility bills. At least, I don't know if this is correct, but at least with utility bills, I heard that like they are paused, but they like were still kind of building.
Yes.
You know, so they weren't like really paused, but like you didn't have to pay it then, but the amount was just building.
Right.
It costs money. And by the way, so this is what I see on here on Google. On August 21st, 2020, the government announced the extension of the furloughed employees under the wage subsidy to September 26th. So it's August 21st to September 26th.
What was the years?
That was 2020 when the federal workers were furloughed.
Okay.
I Googled it.
Because you're awesome and amazing. So you're like, the bills were still coming, and yeah, there was unemployment, but a lot of my friends like that were unfortunately negatively affected, it took a while to get the benefits. It wasn't something that you got like
that
it
day.
was a process. So what do you do? What do you do when you are in a crisis mode? What do? You get innovative. And that's where you see all these different things like lawn service. I saw a lot of people just taking a leap of faith and said, hey, I'm just gonna do that. And that's why I saw with 2020. 2021, I feel like a lot of people are like, hey, I know my worth.
Right.
I know my worth, i.e. now restaurants are now doing $15 an hour plus a sign-on bonus, which is unheard of.
Because they need people, because everyone was stopping. That's why they knew their worth. So
right, but then it was like, oh, it was a problem back. We literally had a podcast about how it wasn't going to work.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. They were able to do it, but now they're like, oh, we can do it automatically now.
We can do it now. we can do it now. So now people know their worth. They're like, hey, do I stay here and just work within my full-time job, or maybe something more, something that could allow me to at least fund other things? So you might have your full-time job where it pays the bills, you can do a little bit this, a little bit that, but your side hustle is what gets you, it allows you to invest in stocks. Right. It allows you to, get a second home. It allows you to take more vacation, more savings. Fun money. And that is what is 2020, 2021. It is the year of the side hustle. You can side hustle almost everything.
I never really thought about that. So I was one of the fortunate workers that didn't have the downside of COVID and all that stuff. So, I didn't really have too much of a side hustle. Of course, could you consider this podcast as a side hustle?
Yes.
So, but definitely it is something I didn't really think to. I didn't take into consideration with 2020 being the year of the side hustle, because you're absolutely right that people had to be innovative. They had to be resourceful because they didn't have to work. So people are going to craft fairs now, or people are doing lessons, they're tutoring, they're doing all of these, typical odd jobs that'll just get them money. But then they find out, hey, this might be for me. Just like the baking company, like you mentioned.
Exactly. So it's like, what? And you're thinking like, okay, side hustle, whatever. That's actually like a lot of people do it. You wouldn't think it, thunk it. But a lot of people do. Like I'm on discover.com, and it's an old report. It's from 2017. So I'm put out there as old. But at the time for this study in 2017, that it stated that more than 44 million Americans have a side hustle.
Really?
Yes, based on 2017. And the work ranges. So a lot of people think, like, when someone told me a side hustle, to me, I was thinking like something where you had to like put basically the equal amount of work as your full time, but you're not doing it 40 hours, you're doing it like 10 hours or something.
Like a second job, like a part-time job.
Yeah, like another job. Like I was like, ugh. But a side hustle can range from freelance work. So if you are a painter on the side, or like you do some consulting on the side, to driving. I didn't realize that, it didn't dawn on me like, yeah, okay, Uber is considered, side hustle, where it's already built up. It's not, because that's, I guess my thought process was like, what you got to build for this? What do we have to build? What do we need to set up so I can get this money? But I'm like, wait, hold on. Like how you mentioned, there's tutors. Yeah. I don't need to build my stuff from the ground up of being a tutor. There's portals, there's websites, companies that are already looking for tutors. I just need to go and sign up and do whatever they need to do. So Uber, ride sharing companies on the weekends. I'm like, oh, okay. So those are like not necessarily you have to build from the ground up in hopes of making it a multi-million-dollar situation. Just like, I just need a couple dollars.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like DoorDash. Those are also kind of like a side hustle, which I didn't really think about either, because I kind of thought that was like more or less like another part-time job, but it really isn't. Because it's as when you're available, you make your own schedule. And I think that's another thing, is making your own schedule when it comes to a side hustle versus having another part-time job. Because a part-time job is scheduled, but it's not by you. So it works around your full-time job. So you have that, in quote, fun money.
We have just updated the definition. Okay. The definition we have got is null and void. Side hustles when you make money on your schedule.
Yes.
and you're thinking like, okay, cool. Because again, like what we were talking about is side hustles can be used for different things other than covering expenses. So yeah, if you are doing something when it during your time, it doesn't necessarily have to be bills, because then that's a part-time job.
Exactly.
So I was looking at a couple of different things, because again, we're looking at side hustles and we'll get to different ones. One of them, they said, one of the reasons you need a side hustle is it having multiple sources of income is empowering. How you feel about that, Kaninja?
I can see that. It's kind of having a safety net. So like, just in case you end up, like, knock on wood, just in case you lose your main job, you have a little bit of a safety net with your side hustle. You have some savings, you have some sort of money coming in. And let's just say that your bills skyrocket. There was a leak in your water pipe, and your water bill went from $40 to $400. What do you do? Now, of course, we can go back to where savings are and all that stuff, but like with a side hustle, you have more income to put into that savings, but it's just more of a safety net. So I can definitely see as like a backup just in case life happens. So
you tell it. Like, I was just like, why did I sign up for more debt? But luckily I had a side thing. So I was like, oh,
that's why.
We're okay. Okay. I was like, oh, okay, the main bills are fine.
So, but on the other side though, on the flip side of that, the only thing I can see is that when a lot of people end up getting more money, they end up spending more and end up getting themselves into more debt. So then they get to themselves into a situation where they have to have a side hustle. It's good to have it for a safety net, but do you really need to? Is it good to have it as a necessity than it is for this is, it helps, but it's not something that I absolutely need. Like, if I can quit the side hustle and I still can live my life, awesome. But if I can quit the side hustle and I'm in trouble, that's no longer really a side hustle.
This is a job now, sir and or ma'am.
Right.
And I was gonna do a positive, because on the report you said but don't mess up your money now. Like, don't be like me. I ended up with my side hustle. I ended up getting a timeshare. It was so fun. I was so happy because I was just like, I have a mortgage. And I, oh wait, hold on. It's $250 a month. Hold on. Wait. Where's my money coming from? Oh, because I get paid for this. Oh.
It's now a job.
What thing what they did say about side hustles, which I know Kaninja can relate, that is that you are able to learn or practice a new skill. And let me tell you, Break Room Buddies, doing this podcast, this is our IT person right here. This is IT right here.
This is I learned a lot, okay? As you guys can see from the editing on YouTube, there's still a lot to learn.
But you're so great. Like she can edit, she can do sound, she can mute, she can do all this stuff. A skill that we didn't know she had.
No, either.
Until now.
Yeah, exactly.
So now you got a skill.
You flatter me
that
too,
nobody knows.
Rissy.
I'm just saying, you got a skill that, okay, now, like, oh, since you can do this, so that's
resume.
A skill. So think about it, like, you do a side hustle. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just mentioning you can just put it on your resume, which is also very good to have too, just in case.
Exactly. So now you build something, because I noticed that a lot of people do like side hustles that you're like, oh, that's interesting, and it's because that's something outside of what they usually do, and then you build so much different like stuff, and nobody has to tell you that's you,
right?
That's you right there. Two, well, two is one, but I messed up on it. The goal was for me to get a side hustle for debt. So two is you can use the extra money to pay off debt, and that is true.
And you got that, Rissy. And you've been very successful with that. And so, and like everyone has debt. So
yes.
that's no surprise there. Everyone has debt no matter what you have. But Rissy, you've had a very successful or a huge success with using your side hustle to pay off your debt, which is amazing.
Right, that is true. I have credit card debt. Before the podcast, I got a lot of things that sometimes I don't even know that I have. I'm like, oh, I have this. Oh, when did that happen? Okay, well, let me use this real quick. Like, oh, I have almond milk in here. Like, what? Oh, okay. So that's when did I get that? Like, that's so random. Cabbage. When did this cabbage get? It was just so random. But yes, I was able to get, like, I had personal loans and credit card, and I was able to pay them off. So I was very happy with that, because I could not do it and live comfortably without having my side hustle. I could not have done it.
And your credit is all the better too. You know, you're getting closer to your goal. Yeah. So, which is amazing. Which is totally awesome.
So yeah, that is one. Kaninja. 3, you can use the extra money to build wealth. Go ahead. Tell us about some wealth management.
Wealth management. I mean, as long as you are, so it really depends on what you use it for. So if you use it to build wealth, you can put it into stocks or investments or so on and so forth. You can put it into your savings and actually accrue interest through your savings, depending on your bank account or your banking system. So it really depends on how you utilize it and what you put that towards. If you use it towards investments, which is always good, you know, if you, I mean, in honesty, if you use it to pay off your house more or to pay off anything that you can use later on. I know I was always told that jewelry is an investment, all that stuff, things that you can use and that will accrue and actually go higher up in money throughout the years. And that's something that will depreciate in value. Like your car not really investment. I mean, we gotta think about that. We pay
No.
our car, it depreciates as soon as it comes off the lot. You know, it does not go well. So if you're using your
And you could
side
have a fucking
hustle,
accident.
right? Exactly.
Forget all of that. Like you can have an
Exactly.
accident.
And then the insurance company can pay you a new car, so then you're good to
So
go.
you're back in a car. Back in that car.
Exactly. But yes, definitely using it to build wealth is important. And I think that kind of goes with if you're going to have a side hustle, to have a clear goal onto what you want to use that money for. But with that, we are going to be going on our break. And so in our next part, we are going to continue this list of top 20 of the side hustles that Rissy has for us. And with that, we'll be back. And we're back. So we are going to continue onto this list. So Rissy, what's next?
Okay, so I recently told Kaninja I'm gonna look up 20, but I was like, well, possibly let's go and do a little bit longer. I did top 100 just to see kind of like the variety. Some stuff are kind of like, repetitive and stuff like that, or they're just kind of like, I'm not doing that. So we're just gonna go through just a couple of them on the second part of side hustles. So hopefully, breaking buddies, that you can, while you're sitting at home in your car, job, listening to us, that you may consider some of the side hustles that we're noting on here. And this list is coming from parade.com, and it is titled the 100 best side hustles. Okay. So number one, I see this a lot, is teaching English online.
Really? You see that a lot?
Yeah, when I go on Indeed or something like that, I usually be like, I look for like work from home, virtual. I see a lot of teaching online through, it's like the top one I see is VIP Kids, but there's so many different ones. But I see like teaching English online. I'm just like, some of them do require like a certain type of bachelor. Some of them just say, as long as you have a bachelor's, that's fine.
I can see that though, because like, I guess if English is your first language, it is super easy to at least do what you can to teach it. At least some sort of grammar, or at least the words, or whatever the case. Especially since America is more or less the melting pot. With all the people who have different languages as their first language. So I didn't really think about it, but yeah, that makes sense. But that's
That was
number one.
one. Number one.
I would
I
have
see that a
figured.
lot. I see that a lot though.
Okay.
Like in like other like Asian countries, I see that a lot.
Okay.
Two, selling your items on Etsy's.
I see that.
If you're crafty,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're like me, where I'm creative, like I did a sip and paint.
Ooh, ooh, look at
Like,
you.
let me tell you, the girl who taught it, she is a godsend. Okay. I'm not selling this shit, okay? This was a personal thing. I ain't selling this shit fucked up. Like,
You probably could sell it though. Someone would probably buy it.
man, listen, for like $2, and they're like, and you pay the shipping, ma'am. Like, some shit like that. Like, the fuck? They're like, yeah, we just want that. So, you know what I mean? Like, Etsy is really good if you are a creative person. Like, Kaninja's mom and sister are very creative people, crafty people. So, I can see them selling stuff on Etsy.
Yeah. Actually, we tried to create an Etsy page for my sister, because she has the Cricut. So she was making decals, like car decals. So break room buddies, if you want any car decals, hit me up on our break room at gmail.com. And I think it's our break room podcast at gmail.com. But
it's our break room.
Okay, our break room at gmail.com. Hit me up and I can definitely connect you. She creates great car decals. But yeah, so she does car decals. My mom, she made chocolate candy. She made tutus. She made the wreaths, the Christmas wreaths. She made so many things throughout
I'm
the
wearing
years.
a tutu for my 30th birthday. I don't care.
Go for it. I'll work with you.
You know what I mean? So That's definitely an idea if you are a crafty person. The third one, which I'm like, is writing an ebook, which I know that, you know, you can be self-published, right? Like you can self-publish yourself on Amazon. I looked that up. But I'm just like, they said that it's a common side hustle, particularly for people who are bloggers.
Okay.
Or people who already have a community. So if you already have a following or like, you know, type deal, it works to have an ebook. Like, but with Big Sis, I'm starting over. So when Big Sis does her stuff, so on Etsy, she can then from her following make an ebook on how to use a Cricut.
Okay. So it's like a how-to kind of thing.
So I can see that going on. I'm not a writer. I thought I could, and I was like, no.
I thought you were gonna do that children's book.
Yeah, I did, but then I got to self-publish, and I was like, but as a side hustle, yeah, I'm like, I don't even. Maybe I need a vacation. Maybe I'll focus on that. The fourth one of them I did see was to sell an online workshop, which I see that a lot when I go, like if I'm on Instagram or something, people are like, hey, I just made 10K for selling a course and you can too. And you're like, what kind of course is this?
Right.
So, but you got to buy the course about selling a course.
But like, how are you selling a course? Are you just teaching the course?
It's like, yeah, but like pre-recorded. Or
Okay.
if you were doing like a live show, like on Zoom or something.
So like my sister, she could do a workshop on how to use the Cricut, and then she could sell that course. Okay.
So like,
I don't see these as top ones though. Like I see Etsy a lot. So but I don't see any of these as like top items. But anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
okay, well, let me look at, because some of these, I mean, they're there and they fit somebody's life, but not me. So teach music lessons. I do see that.
Okay.
So if you are musically inclined, I mean, who don't want that? One of the things that we did see on here was becoming a virtual assistant.
How does that work? Just as a curiosity wise, like how does a virtual assistant work?
I saw some websites, right? So I've seen websites before, but then I was like, so like, how do you do it? And so it's like you're like an admin for someone you'll never see physically.
Okay, I might do that.
I mean, yeah, but then it's like their hours are like work hours.
Oh, okay. So
like, it's
that's
not
kind
like,
of
unless you know your employer was like overseas, you know what I'm saying, in the opposite time, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's nighttime for you and it's daytime for them.
Right. Exactly. Unless your schedule is at nighttime, and then you can do it during the daytime. So I can see that too. If you work nights, then your side hustle is that.
And see, a lot of people, because it has gotten like a really good like outlook just because of COVID and, you know, Delta variant, by the way. And so it's like virtual is kind of where it's at right now. Like when you're trying to cut off, you know, extra additional costs, like get a virtual assistant. And I know a lot of other recruitment, like different recruitment, like employment agencies.
Yep.
Like temp agencies, they'll recruit for virtual assistants. So I see that. So that is a stay-at-home. That's a really stay-at-home safe job, you know, position as well.
I think it'd be easy too.
We don't have that many followers yet, but you can monetize your Instagram account.
Yep. So our break room podcast on our Instagram, I will tell you, it will be in our description for this on our Spotify, YouTube, all that stuff. It's always on there. Support us.
Every number counts. So you can monetize with Instagram. Okay, if you are into social media and stuff. You could be, now this one, you gotta kind of know where you are. But you could be a tour guide.
Okay, I can kind of see that. Like, if you were to go to Charleston and then you get off of work and then you could be a tour guide there. If you go to like a lot of the historical places, basically, you can be a tour guide. And at first I was thinking like a lot of tour guides are like full time, they do it all day. But a lot of times too, some tour guides only do it on the weekends because that's really when people are coming. So I can see that. Okay.
Well, okay. Other one I see is becoming an Uber or Lyft driver. How do you feel about that?
I mean, more and more people are doing it. And so some people are doing it as a full time though.
See.
But I mean, with COVID and everything, I don't know how often they're doing it now, but I know before COVID, it was skyrocketing. Like people were using it all day, every day. They're like, oh, okay, we're on the street and, we're miles away from our car. Let's call an Uber. And then we'll see an Uber like 10 minutes later.
And see, I was okay with it. I was even considering it. Breaker buddies, I don't want to be a deterrent. But if you are one of the breaker buddies that like to, who prefers to wear a mask, vaccinated or not, dealing with people who are vaccinated or not, who decides to not wear a mask, they can be trifling as I get out.
Yeah,
like, I commend whoever does it. But did you see the video? This lady was like, this person came in, did not want to wear a mask, and they're like, "Hey, I can refuse a ride. Like, I don't have to take your ride." You're like, "Well, you should provide it." I'm over here like, check.
Wow.
Even if I were to provide it, you still not gonna wear it.
Right, exactly. It's you wearing it is the big issue here. Wow, I didn't see that.
I thought it was so funny. I'm like, just because we have it, don't mean you guys are gonna use it.
Right.
So why are you bringing up that I don't have a mask? I don't know if they did or not or whatever. But it's the fact that she's like, well, why don't you have one? Why don't you have one?
It takes a special person to be able to be an Uber or a Lyft driver because you're dealing with all sorts of people throughout the night, throughout the day, and they really don't care about your car. So
no, yeah, some people be harassing those like. Let me tell you, I saw a video. We probably saw the same video where it was like these people partying. They were just fucking shit. I mean, messing stuff up in their car. Like I'm just like, what? Like this is people's actual car. Like
yes.
car. Like this is their ride. Like that's my only fear. I mean, if you're already an Uber or Lyft driver, more power to you, and you get all the money. Get all the money. But that's my car. like I gotta do stuff in it. Like I was like, oh, you can mow lawns. I don't know how physically fit everyone else is, but it depends on the time of year. You're like, no,
I'm not. I don't mow lawns.
So you can mow lawns, babysit. I'm not really a babysitting person per se, but there are people out there that love children, who care about children, who are like, hey, I'll babysit or be like a home nanny or something.
I wouldn't know like a home nanny be more of a full-time job though, and not really a side hustle.
Oh, okay. But babysit is a part-time, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I know like when I was younger, I used to babysit all the time. And that was outside of the job that I had at the time as well. And so it would be like on a Friday night for 3 or 4 hours. And you could make some decent money from babysitting, especially if it's like if it's a baby and they go to sleep at 8 and they need you to come by at 7 or 7:30 and then they're out until like 12 or 1, you can make a $60-$70 like just on that. And that's I'm like crazy. Just by sitting on your butt.
What are you talking to your little boyfriend?
Exactly. Texting.
Hey, come over. Be that teenage babysitter. Well, Rex is coming over. Like, Rex, you want to come over? Give me a bad boy name. I gotta look that up later. I need a bad boy name. Typical bad boy. Not Trevor.
Sheldon.
Sheldon, you want to come over and get some of this hot stuff? Hot young. I gotta find an older boyfriend name. Sorry, it shouldn't be that
Travis.
funny, but it is. So, you can do this, Kaninja. This is definitely you can write and edit resumes.
Oh, okay. I could do that. That's easy enough.
The jury's out though. Like, I mean, just side note with resumes, I was always told keep your resume on one page. That's what I was told.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a certain amount of job experience, you know what I mean, you got to get to that second or possibly third page.
So it really depends. You got to put the most relevant job experience on the resume. Let's say if you're going to be like an assistant, don't put that you went to McDonald's as like a line cook or whatever. Now, if you were at McDonald's and you were like a general manager, yes, put that on there. It's leadership experience. But if you were just a line cook, or if you were a babysitter, or if you did swim lessons or whatever the case, even though some of those can be side hustles as well, you know, that's not relevant to the job you're applying to. So don't put that job experience on there. So that's why, I mean, you can have 3 pages of all the things you've done, but half of those are probably not even relevant to the actual job you're going for.
And that's why you're gonna plug in your resume business, okay?
Look at
like,
that.
oh, I got it. I was like, but sometimes it's too. You said, hold on, I've done this. I know what you need. So therefore, check her out too, okay? I know what you need. Or you can do consulting work. You can consult someone on anything, like literally. Like you could be you know, you're not official, but you could go be like, hey, I'm being people, professional organizers.
Right.
You
I'm learning
know,
so much.
Like my friend, she was trying to figure out like what should I do. You know, we put a list down, and I was just like, you could just be a consultant. Like when people ask you for business advice, that's consulting work.
Right. Exactly. I didn't think about that as a side hustle, but it makes so much sense because again, it's on your time. You don't have to do it all day, and it's as needed.
So I was like, you can do some consulting work, Kaninja. We already talked about, no, we didn't talk about this because I was talking about music. This is teach yoga, or I'm going to do a step further, personal training.
Is that really a side hustle though?
I've seen people do it part-time. I've seen it, but I guess in the essence is probably with all the work and amount of time, it don't seem like it don't seem like it's side. But I've seen people do it like part-time.
I can see. Okay, I can see it too because you could make your own schedule with it too.
So like, or teaching a class, like teaching a yoga class or teaching some type of class or something like that. Okay, that could be one. So hey, put it out there. Let me see here. Some good stuff. Oh, okay. This goes online with other stuff. It says host a Tupperware party or Mary Kay or those nail stuff or da.
That's so much work.
Why did you roll your eyes like that?
Because it's just, yes, people do it as a side hustle. I'm trying to be very sensitive here, even though my first reaction was not sensitive.
You said, no, I'm tired of these things. Tired of seeing these things.
I mean, it's almost like a pyramid scheme. I mean, if you really look at it, it's just like they give you a whole bunch of stuff to sell, and you have to go to your friends and family to sell them. And you're scribing by to get someone to buy stuff. Sell them. That is stressful. That is like, why would you do that to yourself?
Wow, why are you like this? Okay, you're supposed to be happy. And you're just like, that's the only one. You were like, I'm over it. Well, to get through a couple of different ones real quick, you can become a referee. You can get paid to take online surveys. This is similar to drive for Uber Eats. You can go and shovel snow. So if you live in an area where snow is obviously prevalent, you could go and be like, hey, I can shuffle your lawn. Get your real estate license. Can that be a side hustle though?
So real estate, it's kind of a hit or miss though, because in the beginning, you really have to work really hard to get your name out there. But at once your name is out there, you can pick and choose your clients, and you can kind of work on the side. So like, so on our second episode, I think it was our second episode, second or third, I think it's our third episode, home ownership. We had Mark Zarcone on there. He was a realtor, or he is still a realtor, broker as well. He started that as a side hustle from his full-time job.
Gotcha.
So it did take him longer to get his name out there, but he was doing that on the side of his 9-to-5 job and kind of whenever he had time. So he didn't have a set schedule or anything like that. He did it whenever he had time. I feel like it's one more of the expensive side hustles because you got to keep up with the fees, but you also have to take a course. You have to take an exam. You have to do all this stuff. So you can't just jump right in like shoveling snow or, Etsy or whatever the case.
Right. Okay, boom. Well, that's what I got for you guys today. Because everything else is pretty much like host a weekly car wash, clean windows, mystery shop. Preparing people's tax returns. I don't know how you feel about the Kaninja, but
I mean, I don't know nothing about it. So.
You could be a sign spinner.
Oh, yep. If you want snacks and size.
And you can start a blog. You can sell your snacks to coworkers, which I don't do that. We just kind of like, you got some popcorn. Here you go.
Do you remember in high school when we had those guys that just had a lunchbox just walking around and selling snacks?
They made good money too.
They really did. All right. But it does look like we are almost out of time. We were going to go over kind of worst distress. So, Rissy, what we can do is that as a part of our 30 seconds, maybe adding a little extra 30 seconds to kind of get your take and as well as my take is it worth the stress for a side hustle? Is it stressful? And we can kind of give our quick take on that. So with that, Rissy, do you want to go first?
I am ready in 3, 2, 1. Awesome topic, Kaninja, because this is, again, the year of the side hustle. Is it worth it? Is it not? What are we trying to do? What are our end goals? What is the purpose of this? Are we going to keep the purpose when we make the money? Okay? Are we going to deviate? So there's a lot of ways to make money. As you can say, like, this is just not even. Like, this is like a fraction of a fraction. And to me, as long as you're focused and you know exactly what you came in there for, I believe it's worth it. As long as you're focused. Don't be like me and pick up more debt. You're like, oops. Oops. And that's my 30 seconds plus.
Awesome. So I totally agree. And this thank you, Rissy, for this. This was definitely Rissy's topic. So I really appreciate such a great topic. I learned a lot and kind of learned about more or less what was a side hustle. Do I think it's worth the stress? I want to say if you have that goal, just like kind of Rissy was saying, if you have that goal and you're willing to kind of stick to that goal and you're putting that money towards it, then yes, absolutely it's worth the stress, because at that point it's not really stress. You're achieving a goal and you're going to accomplish that goal as long as you keep it. Now, if you deviate, then it's not worth the stress. What are you doing? That's what I'm going to say. Why? So, so yeah, definitely that is my 30 seconds. So with that, be sure to comment on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter on how you feel about the side hustle. And if you have one, which one do you like to share? If you like to share it, what your experience is with the side hustle. Also, like, comment, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. It is down there. Underneath, we will be putting all the links in our descriptions on where to get to which one. If you want to hear
know where the links are.
Yeah, we're kind of pointing everywhere. If you want to see our faces, if you want to hear our voices, we will put the links there as well. Thank you all for listening in. Bye, Break Room Buddies.
Bye.
See you next time.